Hey guys, welcome to the 2 a.m. pipe on the patio. Didn't think I'd be making a video today. I was supposed to go in today and have surgery on my leg, but the insurance didn't come through for me, so still waiting on the okay from the insurance. Unfortunately, the doctor who was going to do the insurance is leaving the hospital on the 20th. So if I have the insurance now, I got to go to a different doctor. So if I have the surgery now, I have to go to a different doctor. So back to square one, I guess. So he was trying to fit me in before he left, and the insurance wasn't playing along with us. So I'm smoking my old Meerschaum. This was the second pipe that I ever owned. And I didn't smoke this much when I first got it. I wasn't a big fan of it. I was too afraid to smoke it, actually. I was afraid I'd break it. And then finally I just was like, what the heck, I'm smoking it. It's a pipe. I thought I was too pretty to smoke. And in it, I am smoking HU Port Latakia. Love this stuff. So I've been seeing a lot of stuff about HU tobaccos, HU going out of business, stuff like that. So I contacted John Panzer, who knows the guy who makes the tobaccos for Port Latakia. Asked him what was going on. He said, I guess it was Kolb, K-O-L-B. Is taken over HU, but the guy who makes the HU tobaccos is still in charge of making the tobaccos. They're not going anywhere. They're not going out of business. He did say that the guy that makes the tobaccos, if a tobacco's not doing well, he gets rid of it. He just takes it off the shelf and put something else on instead. Which is how he's always done business. If something's not performing well, he doesn't keep it around. But as of January 1st, 2024, Kolb will be in charge. And but I can't remember the guy's name who does the tobacco. So it's just ridiculous because we talk about him all the time. John and I do. John knows him personally, and says nothing is changing as far as the business side of things, and they will still be in business, and their tobaccos will still be available. So I've seen some videos where people are saying their stuff is hard to find, and I think there's some panic buying going on. People think they're not going to be around, so they're buying everything up they can, which is typical. But from what John is saying, they're not going out of business or anything like that. So I'm using my little Zycar Old Boy. I love these Zycars. They've got a lifetime guarantee like Zippo does. If anything goes wrong with them, they fix it or replace it free. That's Zycar with an X. I also have matches and a Zippo because I didn't know what the weather would be like out here when I came out. And I've got my old leather pipe bag that Paladin Piper sent me 3 years ago. Which has served me very well. See, we've got my name on it, got an onion on it. That's been a great pipe roll up. It's a little worn now from when I first got it. It's been used. Not as shiny as it once was. What a great roll-up. And things are going great here. We had a little loss in the family here on Sunday. I don't know if I talked about this since then. I don't think I've done a video since Sunday. Sadie's husband's grandfather passed away Sunday morning unexpectedly. He was 90 years old. Turned 90 the Sunday before Thanksgiving. If I talked about this in my last video, I apologize for repeating myself. I don't think I talked about it because it hadn't been broadcast by the family yet. So, but her grandfather, Sadie's grandfather-in-law, she called him Papa. Amazing man, just an amazing man, just an amazing man. He turned 90 the Sunday before Thanksgiving. We all gathered for his 90th birthday party at Golden Corral. He wanted it at Golden Corral, so there was about 45-50 people that gathered for his birthday party. And just a wonderful time, And then on Thanksgiving, he wanted to go out on Thanksgiving. and he wanted to go to a Japanese buffet. So that's what we did. We went to a Japanese buffet. Just the family went to a Japanese buffet for Thanksgiving, and we had a blast. It was just so much fun, and he just enjoyed the heck out of it. And I'm just so glad we all went and did that with him. Well, Sunday, he was supposed to go on a trip with some friends. And they were going to pick him up, and they couldn't get a hold of him. So they called over to Sadie and Channing's house where they live and said, "Hey, we can't get a hold of Papa. Somebody needs to come over." So Channing and Sadie went over to the house. Well, they were going over. One of the friends, the man who was there to pick him up, he broke into the house. When they got there, they found him on the couch, all dressed up, ready to go on his trip. Just as peaceful as could be. He had taken his last breath. Apparently waiting for his friends to come. Had his boots on, had his cowboy boots on, just sitting there waiting to go. Just as peaceful as could be. And of course Sadie was devastated, as was the family, but Sadie took it especially hard. She loved that man, and he was the only grandfather she really remembers. She didn't know my dad at all. He was gone, long before she was born, 20 years before she was born. And Denny's dad, she was very, very little when he passed away, so she doesn't really have much recollection of him, which is too bad because he was a wonderful man. So she never really had a grandfather in her life that she remembered, and Papa was that man, and I couldn't imagine a better man to be her grandfather, and to be that man in her life than Papa. He was truly a wonderful man. I got to sit here in the backyard on the 4th of July when Sadie and Channing got engaged. He was here for that, and he and I sat in the backyard for hours and just talked. And he reminded me so much of my Grandpa Flanagan. He was just a soft-spoken Southern gentleman, like my Grandpa Flanagan was. And he, told me about his life. And one of the things that really touched me was how when he talked about his wife, he talked about her with such reverence and love, and there was just such you could just tell how much he loved her, and when he spoke of her with just such tenderness. And she had passed away right after Sadie and Channing had started dating, and that was when I first met Papa. And that's how he introduced himself to me. we went to the funeral, and I introduced myself as, I'm Johnny, I'm Sadie's dad, and he said, I am Pawpaw, and Sadie is just an angel. We just love her. And I didn't know his real name, and I just always called him Pawpaw. His name was Jim Helms. But I didn't know his real name for the longest time. He was introduced me as Pawpaw, and himself to me as Pawpaw, and that's what I always called him. And he loved that. And many people referred to him as Pawpaw. And he was just a sweet, humble man, and he always had a smile on his face. Anytime you saw that man, he was smiling. I'll put a picture of him right here. That man had a smile on his face every time you saw him. And he was just a wonderful man. And he reminded me so much of my Grandpa Flanagan, and I couldn't think of a better compliment to pay, or my Grandpa Flanagan, and I couldn't think of a better compliment to pay a man than to say that about him. He was truly one of a kind, and a gentleman. He'd always say at his birthday party, he said to everybody, I remember everything y'all did for me, and I'll never forget it. And he meant that. He remembered everything everybody did for him. And he would always say, like he said to me, he came up to me on Thanksgiving and put his arm around me and Denny, and he said, anything y'all ever need, you just let me know. And he meant that. He truly meant that. He was just that kind of man. And I just, I didn't know him, but maybe a year and a half, 2 years. But he made a huge impact on my life. Massive impact on my life. And we will miss him. We will miss him. I truly loved that man. And there'll be a huge hole in this family because of his leaving us. But it's amazing how much Channing is like him. Channing is a lot like his pawpaw. They used to go once a week at least once a week. They'd make sure they went out to dinner together and lunch together. And Channing would always go over to his house. Channing and Sadie would go over to his house. And Sadie had made him, she'd crocheted this huge blanket, and Channing had even helped with it. And they finished it the morning he passed away. And it was kind of sad that she didn't get to give it to him, but they had it covering him at the viewing. Which was kind of touching. Sadie's mom, his daughter, asked Sadie if she would bring it and cover him with it at the viewing. So they did that. And when she brought it in, the gentleman at the funeral home said, "Did you want me to put that over him?" And she said, "Yes, but if there's a flag on the coffin, I don't want this over the flag," and because he was a Marine. And the gentleman said, there's not a flag on it right now. There will be at the funeral, but there's not right now." And she said, "Yes, please cover him with this." And so they had that over him at the viewing, which was kind of cute. Kind of not cute, but it was kind of sweet that they did that, so that he did get to have his blanket that Sadie made. And so Sadie's going to give that blanket to Channing's mom and dad for Christmas. And she already told him, I'm not spilling any beans here. But it's something that she and Channing made together, which was really neat. So anyway, that's kind of what's been going on here. So the funeral is tomorrow. The viewing was yesterday. Family's had a lot of loss recently. That family, Channing's family, they've had a lot of his two grandmas and his papa in the last 2 years. They've all passed, and they were very close knit, and they were all elderly and lived long lives. But man, I cannot think of a better way to go than the way Papa went. You know, dressed up, ready to go, sitting on my couch, my boots on. That's how I want to go. You know, as they used to say in the old West, I want to go with my boots on. And that's how I want to go. I want to go with my boots on. Waiting for a trip. Waiting to go on a trip. And with some friends. I couldn't think of a better way to go. So, anyway, I'll catch y'all later. Y'all have a good one. God bless.